Speaking of people watching.
An integrated approach to healing.
People who just go there every day. That's their retired people. It's their occupation. That's where they get their exercise. It's in St. Paul. You don't walk outside in December.
755-6677 or nossmd.com. You are listening to WNPR, Connecticut's public radio station, and WNPR.org.
Oh, I love the library and its books, the librarians and their looks. Where's American history, or fiction, or kids' books, or mystery? Now, I don't know about the two-minute cold, and I don't know about the ozone hole, and I don't know, so I just asked the Dewey Decimal. Oh, I love the library. No, I won't be quiet. Everyone should try it. Let's see if we could start a riot. Ideally, it'd be a reading riot. Oh, here at your local library.
That is our own Kyone Wolf. How about a hand for her? She's a force of nature. She's a force for good, though, I think. So we're here at the Henry Carter Hall Library in beautiful Clinton, Connecticut, and we're talking about the changing roles of libraries. And, you know, one thing I think that people sometimes think, and I think it keeps them out of libraries, although according to what we just heard, it's not keeping them out of libraries very much, is people think, okay, I have the internet. I have the internet. I can look up anything I want on the internet. I can find anything I want on the internet. I can access everything on the internet. Why in the world would I need to go to the library? And I myself have some strong thoughts about this, but I'll throw it over to you, Debbie, for starters.
Well, you know, I think that, you know, librarians tend to bristle, but it's a fair question.
She's bristling right
now.
I am. There's a slight, slight bristle. No, it's a fair question, and I think one thing I would point to in my day job, I work at Central Connecticut State University, and I would point to the almost $1 million we spend in journal subscriptions to academic journals, most of which are e-journals. So it's by no means free on the internet. I think there's a lot of terrific ready reference tools out there. And, you know, librarians have mixed feelings about, you know, Wikipedia, pro and con. But, you know, there's certainly tools. But if you want to get to, you know, more serious research, you know, beyond what you would find in a Wikipedia article, you know, you really need to go further. And we're talking about the deep web. And that's one thing that librarians continue to support. And most of these resources are by subscription only. If you were to try to access the Elsevier's Science Direct website, for example, it's a major publisher of journals in the sciences, you would quickly hit a paywall. So you would have to go through your library's website to gain access.
Debbie, I smell false modesty here. I mean, isn't the real reason that one might go to libraries because there's a really good reference librarian who will help you with this stuff?
Oh, I mean, that's no, it is. I am being the self-effacing librarian here.
Take those glasses off.
If I had them.
You should see your shoes. They are so not librarian shoes.
Well, thank you. I tried to define.
But I mean, a good reference librarian is totally invaluable. I mean, because I didn't know about Elsevier science journals until just now. You know, that's.
Well, you know, I think it's one of the things that, you know, in the dawn of the web, it used to be pretty easy to find what was out there because there really wasn't a lot of it. Now there's more than, you know, lifetimes worth of data. And I'm finding, as a professional librarian, it's harder and harder to find information. And what we see also at the college level, and I'm sure this is the case at the public library as well, is that, you know, students, you know, they're fairly tech savvy, but in terms of how to find information, how to evaluate it, how to synthesize what they find into a paper, I mean, they really, either they're not being taught this, or it's not a priority for them, and then they get to college, and it's like, holy cow, I have no idea how to do this. So, you know, we're still, you know, our students are still knocking on our doors, and we have all ways of reaching out to the students, including, I mean, I answered a reference question via text message. I was sitting in a meeting completely off campus, and I love being able to reach out to the students in that way.
I mean, I would go a little bit further and say, and this is something that I do occasionally teach about at Trinity, that there's sort of a crust of the internet that people are trapped in. They're people, for the most part, if you think about how you use the internet, you Google stuff. And, Google obviously is a gameable search engine. It has an algorithm that people are constantly trying to penetrate and game. But no matter what, the first 10, how often do you even go to the second page or the third page of responses on Google? And so for the most part, right away, a lot of since Google is kind of so many people's gateway to the internet, you're trapped in that little upper crust of the internet earth. And I would say the same thing about most of the commonly used internet applications, whether it's Wikipedia or if you're getting your information from Facebook, the internet is 40, 50, 60 feet deep, and people are living in the top 2 or 3 inches of it because that's just kind of the way things work. Whether things are behind a paywall or not, that's one issue, the issue that you're bringing up. But there's some things that you can't get unless you've actually obtained that subscription. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can't get because it's a little bit too esoteric, or it just doesn't fit into that little tiny upper crust. I know I see you nodding over there, Jill. Did you want to elaborate on that? Or?
I would just say, going along with what you were saying, even 20 years ago, librarians were the gatekeepers of knowledge, and now we're not. Our role has changed. Now we will help users navigate how to find the information, because with the internet and with Google, the information is often at our fingertips. But that doesn't mean that everybody knows how to navigate what Debbie was saying. What's a quality source versus a source that's not reputable? And certainly in academia, you really need these paid subscriptions.
So you will navigate them below the pie crust into the filling because you're the gatekeeper.
No, I would say we're really not.
I was just tracking the metaphors.
And at the public library, we also see a big technology gap. So not everyone has access to even a home computer. So they're not accustomed to, say, Wikipedia or what Google even has to offer. So we are guiding them and helping them find the information that they need that they can't even get from home.
When I hang out at the New Haven Public Library, which I do, and we have a great branch, the Mitchell branch near us. I'm moved actually when I see the librarians helping people find jobs or teach them how to look on Craigslist. That's an extraordinary thing that I imagine they don't have classes for in the master's programs in librarial science, but it's one of the human skills that seems to be crucial, especially in a recession, to being a librarian.
Right.
And I think that's one of the huge roles that librarians are taking on right now, and how the field is really changing, and who we are recruiting into the profession, the types of people we're recruiting are really changing, because it's not okay any longer. There are very few library jobs where you can be behind closed doors and not be out in the public. We're really in a customer service industry. We need to be innovative. We need to be knowledgeable and able to share our knowledge with all of the technology that's out there. And I think that's a role that libraries are really embracing right now.
Well, it's a public space.
It's
like public transit. It's one of those spaces everyone uses, and there are people using the libraries for warmth because they have nowhere else to go, and there are people using it to find a job because they don't have a job, and there are people using it because, my wife goes, what she does is she checks out a book, if she reads a book review and is interested in the book, she checks it out of the library, and if she likes it, then she buys it because maybe she'll reread it someday.
Exactly.
But her first stop is always the library.
Previewing.
She previews with the library, that's right.
And what a great idea. Imagine if publishers
promoted that.
Gave free copies to
She thinks I'm
libraries.
ridiculous that I'll just go buy a book. Get a library, if you like it, buy it.
Yeah, and I think the publishers are really aware of that. And that's what's so surprising to me, and that we were talking a little bit about ebooks, is that they know that people who use libraries are also the same people who tend to buy a lot of books. And so the fact that they're not really making it easy for librarians to offer ebooks to their patrons is a little startling.
How are you going to